All right, welcome to the Sportsnet YouTube channel. I'm Steve Dangle, and this is the Free Agent Frenzy. Today is July 1st in my head, and in my head only. It's July 28th, and all the free agents can sign wherever they want. Let's get you caught up on everything so that you can actually process the day, all right? A lot is going to happen, but a lot has already happened as well. Alexander Ovechkin signing his extension in Washington, 5 years, $9.5 million per year, and Marc-Andre Fleury getting traded to the Chicago Blackhawks for nothing. And apparently he might not even show up. He might just retire. We already did a video on that on this YouTube channel yesterday, so check that out. We'll link to it somewhere. Do editing magic. All right. Here's what happened last night that we got to get you caught up, okay? Tyler Johnson was traded from the Tampa Bay Lightning along with a second-round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for Brent Seabrook. Brent Seabrook does not play hockey anymore. He's going to be on long-term injured reserve. So what's hilarious about this deal is the Tampa Bay Lightning are just going to do it again. They're just going to do it again. They're going to spend up to the cap, and they're going to be able to spend over it because of players like Brent Seabrook on LTIR. And here's what's unreal about this system that I just don't get. The Lightning are not just taking on more cap hit with Brent Seabrook. They're actually going to pay him more money. So they're going to save cap space by giving someone more money, $500,000 more dollars next year than Tyler Johnson and 1.5 over the next 3. They're going to give him more money and they're going to save cap space. But again, the giant reconstruction in Chicago continues. I don't even feel comfortable commenting on what that team is going to look like because it doesn't seem like they're done at all. In fact, while I was on the phone planning this video, they made another trade. Also, in the works, Nate Schmidt was sent from the Vancouver Canucks to the Winnipeg Jets, an all-Canadian trade that doesn't hold the same weight that it did last year because they're not in the same division anymore, so the Canucks don't have to care about the Winnipeg Jets and making them better. So, the Canucks, who acquired Nate Schmidt last year for a third-round pick, get a third-round pick in exchange. They wanted the cap space there. No harm, no foul. They got 1 year of efforts, 1 year of service out of this guy. Winnipeg, though, on the other hand, getting Nate Schmidt, a pretty capable puck mover, and also Brendan Dillon a few days ago for a pair of seconds. That is an improved back end back there, and that's something that they sorely needed. Gabriel Landeskog, producer Drew likes this one. 8 years times $7 million. This deal rules. It's really, really good. The Avalanche get their captain locked up forever and ever. Amen. I think that is such a great morale boost for the team. I think it's a great morale boost for the fan base. A fan base that should have their heads held high. This team just won the President's Trophy. Landeskog is good. The entire team is clearly good. Landeskog leaving the Avalanche never made sense to me. This is a team poised to do it again. They could easily win the President's Trophy again. They could win a few rounds. They can contend for the Stanley Cup, and they can do that for several years. Landeskog leaving never made any sense to me. To me, this is a darling deal. Oh, but what about after 5 years? Who cares? Let half a decade from now worry about that. Armia signing a deal with the Montreal Canadiens. 3 years times $3.4 million. Now, if you watched any of my live streams during the playoffs, especially watch a Habs game with Steve Dangle, you'll know that I loved Joel Armia's game. I thought he was an extremely good player in the playoffs. Really tough, really tenacious, and he has a nose for the net and knows how to score some of those dirty goals. The problem is I'm not sure where he slots in on the right wing depth chart for the Montreal Canadiens. I think you love him. You love him in your bottom 6 at a lower number. 3.4, that's not exactly a bottom 6 number, so I'm interested to see what the Montreal Canadiens continue to do with that group. And of course, Zach Hyman is basically signing a carbon copy deal to the deal that Josh Anderson signed with the Montreal Canadiens last year. Here's the difference. Zach Hyman, injury prone? I don't know about injury prone. Can you be prone to getting knee on kneed by Alex Edler? He has had some knee issues in the past. But over the past 2 seasons, not only has Hyman played some power play, been on the penalty kill, been on the Leafs top line very consistently, and at times proved that he could run his own line a little further in the depth, Hyman has actually scored at a 30-goal pace, while never actually scoring 30 goals. But if you take his goals per game, he's actually scoring at a 30-goal pace over an 82-game season. This is a really good player, and he's not a role player, but he can. Today's news, just getting you caught up. Peter Mrazek looks like he's going to sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs. 3 years times 3.8. Now that might sound like a lot, and perhaps it is. Keep in mind you're going to need assets to trade for a goalie like Darcy Kuemper, and the Leafs don't exactly have them after a really expensive trade deadline. But Peter Mrazek is going to step into a role that he's basically been in for his whole career, where he's going to be a tandem goalie with Jack Campbell. He had spectacular numbers in the regular season last year. Wasn't as good in the playoffs, but he was coming off of an injury, which I'm sure is going to give Leafs fans pause, but it's the National Hockey League. Almost everybody has some sort of injury history. And they now have a tandem of Campbell and Mrazek for next season that combined only make a little bit more than what Frederik Andersen was making as an individual. Nikita Zadorov, a bit of a depth move. He's getting traded from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Calgary Flames. The Flames paid a third-round pick, and it was the third-round pick they got from the Leafs in the Dave Riddick deal, so it wasn't even their own third-round pick. This is a cap dump move for the Chicago Blackhawks. I still don't know what they're doing, but the Colorado Avalanche getting a little, but the Calgary Flames getting a little nastier on the back end with Zadorov, who can throw some big hits. Not the best underlying numbers, though. And lastly, before I wait for noon, Yaroslav Halak signing 1 year, $1.5 million in Vancouver. The tale here is simple. It's a very cheap deal, but not as cheap because they bought out Braden Holtby, but you can't consider Holtby into the equation. He's not on the Vancouver Canucks anymore. The Canucks have to hope Yaroslav Halak is better than Braden Holtby. I already have to make an edit to this video that I'm actually sending to Drew, so I'm going to shoot this part on my phone. There was another trade, the Edmonton Oilers making a 1-for-1 deal with the Carolina Hurricanes. It is Ethan Bear, right-handed defenseman, going to the Carolina Hurricanes, and they do need those, in exchange for Warren Foegele. He's a forward. He's got some size. He's 6'2". He's a year older than Ethan Bear, so Ethan Bear is the younger player there, and he had 10 goals last season. A few years ago, Foegele had a really good playoff with the Hurricanes. This past season, not so much, just 2 points in 10 games. But the Oilers, all the rumors surrounding them, they want to be a bigger, nastier team next year. Foegele might help them do that, but you still need guys to play defense for you. Giving up Ethan Bear, that's a risk, and I think the Carolina Hurricanes are more than delighted to take it. So, are you all caught up? Was this helpful? Let me know in the comment box down below. What do you think is going to happen today? But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Silly season.